for an analysis of the socially protective and risk factors in social dynamics of coping and growth, which can help understand social process and identify collective competency factors. We did a qualitative assessment in northern Sri Lanka. And we put the findings into a grid, the different levels, and under these different headings, which can be both negative and positive: adaptation, resilience, and what's called adversity activated development. There was widespread exposure to potentially traumatizing events, and which under normal conditions would be considered extreme and would cause distress in most people. Commonly, these traumatic events had been multiple and chronic. Some of the interesting findings or some of the manifestations that we came across, particularly at the community level, included mass hysteria. Mass hysteria can be symptomatic of underlying insecurity and repressive ecology in the post-war context. For example, the Greece Pudam phenomena. A group of mental health workers who are returning late at night from work was set upon by a community vigilante group that had been formed to ward off the alleged Greece Pudam attacks, and they just escaped from being manhandled. We told them that that was an occupational hazard for working late. Herd instinct in election voting or strikes was also mentioned. Exodus of Tamils seeking to escape to Australia by boat was called a mass hysteria, but a more apt term would have been herd instinct. We could observe that ordinary people talked about fleeing to Australia by boat to escape the hopeless situation. A more recent example of mass hysteria was in relation to the recruitment of Tamil females into the army in Kilnochi. There are several developed possession states and conversion hysteria. We can't always vouch for the accuracy of what the media report, but this is what was reported to have been stated by Dr. J.M. Mendis. I don't know how far it's true, but this description by Christopher in the Sunday Leader. Norris et al. Identifies 4 primary sets of adaptive capacities for community resilience. These include economic development, social capital, information and communication, and community competence. Community competency refers to the capacity and resources and skills within the community to act together, cooperatively and effectively to meet challenges. Unfortunately, in post-disaster situations, some or many of these resources and support systems could be affected or dysfunctional. Community responses and coping may thus become compromised. A vicious resource loss cycle where breakdown of social support, networks, relationships, economic resources and material goods will create a downward spiral of a deteriorating situation of increasing needs and dysfunction. Yet, critical challenge and adversity may provide the impetus and catalytic stimulus for change and social transformation. Thus, the breakdown of traditional forms of oppression and rigid hierarchical structures like caste and feudal ownership and patriarchal female suppression could lead to a more positive emancipation and development. New organizations, networks, relationships, friendships, forgetting of old quarrels and conflicts, can take place. Common people, oppressed and excluded minorities could gain more power and access to resources due to shifts in the social system out of collective action. According to the Social Policy Analysis and Research Center of the Faculty of Arts at the University of Colombo, the breakdown in social structures and institutions create an opportunity for empowerment and transformation. Community level interventions. Traditionally, post-disaster interventions have been conceptualized and categorized into rescue, relief, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and development, depending primarily on the time course after disaster. Different organizations, government departments, and international bodies like INGOs and the UN have been responsible for the implementation and interventions depending on the phase of the disaster. We are now in the post-disaster phase. If you look at the different phases of the disaster, we are now in the post-disaster phase, which can go on for years. And the main problems from a mental health point of view can be unresolved grief, depression, alcohol abuse, suicide, and at the community level, collective trauma.